Wonderful. And we're live. Hi, Maria, officially. Thank you so much for being here for this conversation today. It's really just very exciting to have this opportunity to talk with you about creating our reality. It's just such a topical conversation these days, especially. So I'm very excited to have you on this call. Because I know your point of view is just so expansive and you just throw out all the limitations. And I just think that it's just going to be a magical conversation for everybody to hear and get some good takeaways that they can use to help create a new reality for themselves. And so I'd love for you just to share a little bit, just a very short summary about what you're doing now, what exciting things you are offering to people now, what your current work is, a little bit about where you're from, where you're living at the moment, and then we'll just dive in from there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Carole, for having me here. It's like an honor, and I just love to do these interviews because you create your reality with your point of view. So my point of view are so different, and they're very logical. So it's not that they're so different that you can't believe them. They're very logical. So it's great that this would be listened by so many people that are going to change their lives just by changing their point of view. And what I do is that I help high drive women eradicate traumas and blocks, clearing the 7 universal wounds. And I came up with this after probably 30 years of studying and working on myself. I am originally from Venezuela, from Caracas. And I left when I was very, very young. I left at 5 years old. And that's when my trauma started. Because after 2 years, I went to live in France. And after two years there, I was put in a boarding school. Actually, I was abandoned way before that. I was put in a boarding school and I was felt completely abandoned. So that was my trauma. So each one of us has a trauma that we live every single day, every single second. And we have recorded many situations that have to do with this trauma during our first 7 years. And all it is that we put this recording or this very antique tape, we put this CD over and over again, having the same feelings with different situations. Because what I do is that I work very different than everybody. I don't work exactly on your present problem, which is actually an opening, for me to see what's going on. But we all know that that's not what is going on. So we, oops, my little cat is playing around with my rocks. So sorry. So when you have that recording, which is a recording of emotions, and that is the difference of me, with the rest of the world. I work with your emotions and I go back with your emotions to see what is really going on. So it's really, the 7 universal wounds are really 7 magnets that attract toxic situations and people into your life. And those, once you erase and get rid of those magnets, then of course you're gonna start creating a completely different life of your own, a life that would be really yours, because mostly our blocks are fears from our parents, from society, from religion, and we just buy them. We buy them because we're little, and we are told that since we are very little, we don't know anything, which is completely the opposite. When we're little is when we know the most, when we're expansive, when nothing is, you have no fear, nothing is a problem, you go and play in the dirt and all that, and then you're just happy. You're happy and you're abundant. And then our parents start giving us those fears of, be careful, you're gonna fall, then you hear, you know, your parents say, oh my God, we don't have enough money this month, or we have to pay this, and what are we going to do? And then it comes, you know, fear of living your life, fear of having money, fear of having health, being healthy. And so these are the part of the 7 universal wounds, which go beyond the core that everybody works with. And
Okay.
Yeah, we all have these 7 wounds.
Would you be able to share, just give us the name? Would you be able to name them for us? Just some of the things, or was that?
Well, yes. The first one is actually aggression. The first one is the core family pattern wounds, which are, you know, what all the families have and all the families are worried about and are fearful. We have the aggression towards yourself, from yourself.
That's an interesting choice of words. Aggression. I've never really heard
us
think about how we think about ourselves with that word. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, we always
back to that.
Yeah, we always blame somebody for whatever is happening to us, you know, whoever is aggressive towards us. But anyways, that's next. We have abandonment, and we have the manipulation towards you. So manipulating, we have the overprotection, we have the relationship trauma, and we have the mistrust of your own self.
Wow, there's some really juicy ones there, I can see.
Yeah,
getting underneath those would be really huge. And it sounds like you use your intuition then when you're working with people, don't you? To really tap into.
Yes, I am a master of actually getting to the bottom of where was the first time that you felt that emotion. And it was scary at the beginning. I was like, oh my God, how was I able to do that? And it's something that once you accept that you are an infinite being and that you have the capacity to be aware of everything around you, then that opens up a door in order for you to notice what is going on in somebody else's, which we all do, actually. We all notice what everybody else is thinking. We're all empaths.
That's really exciting, because as you say, I think a lot of us do walk around in this world aware on some level that we're aware, but I think when somebody actually consciously voices what you've just said out loud, it's so much easier then to go and tune into what you're noticing. Hey, I think you can then start to really notice and say, okay, well, this is real. You know, it's actually been named. It puts it into context, gives it some reality, I guess, and you realize, well, actually, yes, okay, and hopefully our audience will then start noticing what they're noticing.
Yeah, and you know what, Carole, is that it's so funny because when this virus started, and I told you that this wasn't my reality, and I said I wasn't going to talk too much about it, but it's coming, so we need to talk about it. So it's funny, when this started at the very, very beginning, when I wasn't even so much aware of what was going on, I just heard probably one news about the coronavirus. And right away, like in a matter of seconds, Carole, I started feeling my throat dry, and it was hurting, it was itching, and that's the first step of the coronavirus. I mean, the first symptoms. So of course, me knowing this and working on my muscle, and my spiritual muscle, which makes me be much more aware and much faster, I say, this is not mine. No, it's not mine. This is an energy that I'm feeling. And at that second, I didn't buy it for me. So this is what happened.
Fantastic.
By the idea, what happens, we all know now, everybody that has a tiny bit of knowledge of the spiritual world, we know that we create, you know, that our thoughts and our points of view create our reality, create our lives. So Absolutely. Right there and then I said, no, this is not mine. I'm thinking about what everybody else is thinking, and I'm already calling that energy towards me. So I stopped it right there. And what I did, the first thing I did when they say, oh, you got to stay home. And I know it sounds irresponsible, but I create my reality. So I say, I'm going to try to stay out the most time that I can, that I'm able to. So I took a trip to a farm, to a ranch, and you can see the pictures, you saw the pictures. And I just, for a whole week, while everything was flourishing in the whole world and everybody was getting closed up in their houses, I was in the middle of nature on horses, riding and having a blast for a whole week. Because I create my reality. I really don't think that this would happen to me.
Yeah. And I know you've got plenty of other examples of that, you know, where you've actually created a completely different outcome. I had a conversation once before where you said you don't look at your bank account, for example, you know, which is, but the experiences that you have through choosing to have an expansive experience, like to be able to travel to Paris from, you know, the American North America. So are you living in the US now, or are you living in?
I'm in the US now. I'm in Orlando now. I'm going to be moving hopefully in 2 months, but I'll be going south to Palm Beach.
Okay. So, I mean, you've always been able to travel. Every time I've ever seen you, you're traveling to all sorts of exotic locations, staying in the ball. And one of your secrets you've said is that you just don't look at your bank account and use that number in your bank account to decide whether you can or can't do anything. You first set the intention and decide what feels like the best and most expansive next step for you. And then you make your plans. And you said you've always had the money to do it. So I would love you just to talk a little bit more about that, because I just love that.
Yes, this is a subject that is it's very strong, I would say, because people would say, oh my God, I can't believe it. And this is not real. It can't be real, because it does go beyond any imagination. And that's what I actually do. That's my master, is to go beyond imagination, because actually, even when you imagine something, Carole, you are limiting yourself, because you can only imagine
that.
you.
Yeah.
So even when you imagine, you're limiting. So I go actually beyond my limitations and beyond my imagination, in a way that let me just go back a little bit. Let me just go back. Like approximately 5 years ago, I had $5 in my pocket. Okay. And it's a long story why I got there, but it wasn't because I spent all the money and all this. It was really because I was in a relationship and I had no control over anything. Okay. And I, after being tired of a situation in that relationship, I said to myself, I'm done with this. I am just going to go. And everybody would say, yeah, you have to go through the through the law and, get divorced and this and that. And I'm like, that doesn't feel right for me right now. I need to do this fast. And anyways, documents don't mean anything to me. And you can see that nowadays people have documents and they're still being sued, and even if they have a backup, they're still being sued. And so documents nowadays really don't have much backup. But anyways,
okay.
So I said to myself, and my first book, that's a parenthesis, I am also a #1 bestseller with the book Ask and You Shall Receive, and This Time You Will. It's in Amazon. And with that book, I created that book. Then every chapter is a situation in your life. So the first chapter was, either parenting or money. The second was money. The third was relationship. The fourth was work, then health. So, and self-worth also. And so I started creating those questions because I grew up Catholic, so I knew about the Bible. I knew about ask and you shall receive, that is written in the Bible. And so I started writing those questions, because I said there has to be a type of questions that God understands, because it can't be possible that people are asking and nothing is happening. So I did, declarations or statements like, I am rich, I am abundant, You know, I did that for 30 years and it didn't really work. Like, I swear, I would say like the whole day for 30 years, I am abundant. My bank is full. I have a great life. And I didn't see that around. Then that's why I created those questions, and things started to shift because I started to move the quantum entanglement with those questions because I wasn't being controlling. I was just asking a question.
Would you say that that's the difference between the declaration and the question? Could you just explain why you think what you did asking a question produced a different outcome than an affirmation?
When you ask a question, you don't declare one specific things, which is what we were talking about, which was our imagination, you know, what we know. So you would be asking, you would be declaring what you know, okay? Or for example, I want a car, or no, you have to be more specific. I want a Mercedes. It has to be white. It has to be this. Yes, you can get it because you are strong. You have that strength to create and to manifest and to actualize any of the things that you wish for. The thing is, you're going to be limiting yourself with what you know.
I love that, because you would think asking for a Mercedes, I mean, how does it get any better than that? But I guess there is like a Maserati, there's a few options. Or
and not only that, but I put this example in my book and I say, okay, then, you know, you go through your life and you die and you sit down on a cloud next to God and you say, hey, God, you know that Mercedes that I so wanted and that house that I so wanted, thank you so much for giving it to me. And he looks at you and he's like, yeah, okay, but, and you're like, but what? That was awesome. You gave me that. He said, well, I wanted to give you much more, but you were bugging me so much with these specific things that you sent me. So you asked me for the Mercedes and I wanted to give you a Rolls Royce with a driver.
Exactly.
You asked for the Mercedes, so I had to give you that tiny Mercedes with that, and period. So that's more or less just, so you have to ask open questions. Yeah.
Okay, so the open questions are inviting the universe to really bring you the best thing that it can, the best possible outcome. And that just while you were speaking, I think one of the reasons we limit ourselves is because of, as you say, we've been brought up with people's limited expectations. So we've come to sort of feel like we can only ask for so much that, you know what I'm saying? I think just in terms of what we think we're capable of achieving is so limited. And perhaps that God expects us from a religious point of view to be modest, to only ask for what we need and no more. Whereas what you're saying is that, well, hinting at, I'm guessing, and I know you'll expand on this, is that the sky's the limit. As you said before, as much as you can imagine and dream and bring into as a possibility you can have, or as you say, asking these open-ended questions provides the avenue for the universe to provide you. Could you give us an example of why it would want to bring you that incredible experience as opposed to just a modest one?
Yeah, and people would think, oh, that's materialistic, you can't do that. You know, I was there. I was there.
Okay.
Okay, I was there where I would give everything free, and I would have a very modest life. And actually, I would say that I am happy with any life that I have. And probably that's why I have so much, because I'm not trying to control so much what has to come in and how it has to come in, right?
So, important, yeah, that's important. Okay.
So we control, and the control of where we have to live, what things do we have to have, is mostly comparison of ourselves with other people. You're not being yourself.
I think, okay, I'm glad you paused at that point. I think that's a very important thing, because I think we very often do get sucked into comparisons, especially if we see someone else having like a really amazing experience, which Facebook and Instagram show us, you know, continually, this person on an island somewhere in Bali, or just, you know. So how would you say we can actually stay in our own zone, creating what is most optimal for us to experience? How do we get out of that comparison mindset?
Valuing yourself, and being
Okay.
you, valuing yourself, and actually going within you and finding the happiness inside of you. And this is really funny. I think that maybe it's not that funny. It's funny for me. When they say, you know, we're all locked up in our houses, we can't go out. Well, here to the supermarket is so, but mostly we can't go out, we can't do anything. And so you have to sit down at home with yourself. And 80% of the people are not being able to do that. Hello, you know, you're like, you don't get along with yourself then. So you have to see of this is an opportunity. Actually, this everything that is happening right now is an opportunity to you to see how your life is doing. Because
okay, well, sorry, finish your sentence.
so because when you are okay with yourself, when you're happy with yourself, it doesn't really matter where you are. My daughter yesterday was saying to me, you know, we were looking at houses and you know, where do you want to live and all that. And then my daughter says, let me pick, Mom, because you can live in a closet so happily.
That's great.
And I say, and actually the past 3 houses, she has picked them because I can live anywhere and I'm happy.
I love that. I really love that. Well, let's just dive into that a little bit, because I know that being okay with yourself, as you say, is the key to everything. So do you have any tips for how do you get to that point where you are realize that you are okay, just as you are? You don't have to wait until you overcome this. Right now is something you can start to value.
Yes, well, first of all, you stop comparing yourself because you know who you are. You are an infinite being, right? You are light, right? Second of all, you have to accept that you are that strong as you are saying you are. Because some people say, oh yes, I am an infinite being, but oh my God, this happened to me and this happened to me. No, nothing happens to you. You create it. And I know some people are going to say, oh, but the people that died of coronavirus, how is it that they created this? Well, I've talked to doctors, to doctors that have a broad mind, okay, an open mind. And they say, Maria, and I saw in the news yesterday too, they have to create certificates of death with coronavirus even before they die. And there are people like before that, people would die. Let's say you have cancer. Let's say before coronavirus, okay? You had cancer, and everybody says that if you have cancer and you get a cold, you can die. If you're in the last days, you can die. But nobody says that you died of a cold.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He says, oh no, and I went through that. You know, I went through that with my mother and my sister. No, they didn't die of cold. They died of cancer. No, they really, talking right now and analyzing right now, they died of a cold. They were dying of cancer, but who really made them die was a cold because they had all their immune system down. So what I see here is exactly that. People are being told that they die, and they've been told to because they died of coronavirus. If they had cancer, they get the coronavirus. No, they died of coronavirus. They didn't die of cancer. So right there and then, all the statistics are wrong.
Okay.
They're not people dying. But I'm saying, yes, they're dying, but they're dying because they have a low immune system. That within a week, she got it 3 times. She got the coronavirus, she healed. She got the coronavirus, she healed. She got the coronavirus, she healed.
Oh, wow. And so you're saying...
How can that be? It is because she prepared her body. In my world, I love to think about alkalinity because there is no virus that can live in an alkaline body. And this is nutritionist part and healer nutritionist part. So there is nothing that can live. I mean, there is no virus that can live in an alkaline body because all germs and all viruses adore acidity. So once you turn your body alkaline, and this is what she did. I said, did you do what I did? Yes, I did what I did. And then after, what happened after you healed? Oh, I ate a steak, I ate this. So she started eating acidic food. And then again, she got it. Because she was already weak, most probably. She was already weak. Her body was acidic. So she was like a banquet to the coronavirus in her body.
Okay.
He had
yeah. Actually, no, I've changed my mind about what I was going to ask about that. So we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear you. And I think also, you know, maintaining a positive attitude that we, as you said, we are the creator of our reality, that we are not just human beings, limited human beings at the mercy of whatever outside circumstances we find ourselves in. Exactly. Is the key also, hey, to getting through this, you know, sailing through this. Well, but yeah.
And then comes also the positive mind, you know, like you were saying right now, having a positive attitude, having a loving attitude.
Yes.
Like, you know, the first thing that came to my mind, and this is mostly when I do my retreats. I do a beautiful 4-day retreat that takes care of all 7 wounds at once.
Oh, wonderful.
So when you are, oh God, it just went away, what I was going to say. When you are in a position where your body and your soul, they're walking parallel, it's not that my soul is greater than my body or my body is greater than my soul. They're both great. Okay. They're both great because without this body, you wouldn't be here. So this body is extremely important to you. And absolutely. Also, the other thing I could say is that probably your soul, your body is in your soul and not your soul is in your body. So you have to also take care of your body right here. It's like a little beautiful little golden box that you were giving and said, okay, you're going to go and live in this planet and at this time, and this is your golden being. You got to take care of it too.
I love that. You know, because I like to think of this experience almost like a video game where we're given an avatar. But I think the way you're describing it is it's actually even grander than that. It's like a living, conscious, you know, on some levels, this is a hologram. But the relationship with our body is a little bit different than just having like an avatar suit. As you say, body has consciousness as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. Our body has the most consciousness of everything that has to do in this world.
Okay, could you expand on that a little bit?
Oh yeah, I say, did you see that we just went away from where we were talking? So we're just following. I know people are going to say, well, they were talking about this and suddenly they change into that. We're just following the energy.
Okay, we'll go back.
We're following the energy, right? That's the energy. This is how it's supposed to be. So your body, I call your body as your little crystal ball.
Mm.
Because do you remember that time where, I don't ever like to talk negative, but let's talk negatives just to give a strong example, where you didn't want to go somewhere and you really felt it in your stomach and in your heart. I don't want to go there. I shouldn't go there. But let's make it funny. It's a family reunion. I have to go because it's my family and it's my aunts are going to be there. My cousin, I have to go because it's a family reunion and I have to go there. First of all, you don't have to go, okay? Because that's when you start noticing your body and giving importance to your body. You say, okay, my body is in my gut saying do not go. I'm not saying not to go to every single one. I'm saying not to go to this specific one that your body said, there is your body telling you. There is that little crystal ball that you are telling you don't go. What happens? Right. Oh, and there is a fight. There is something happening there. And you're like, I knew it. I knew it. I shouldn't have come. And it doesn't have to be. I just made it fun, like family reunion, but it can be anything. Like you go to a interview and suddenly you didn't want to and something happened, or and something happened. your body tells you everything. So when you clear these 7 universal wounds, you're completely clean to be able to receive and perceive everything that's going on around you.
That's amazing. So that's how you really can tap into your intuition.
Yeah, because you're really tapping into yourself, because you don't have anybody else's ideas and blocks inside of you. You're clean from everything. You're not being anybody but you. And who are you?
Right.
You are an infinite being.
Yeah, and I think that the parts of our body, I think the whole body I've read actually has consciousness. In every single cell you have consciousness, but there are parts of your body that are particularly, like the heart apparently has more emotional intelligence than your brain. So it's an interesting thing to be aware of, that when you hear that expression, listen to your heart, it's actually listen into, because it's got infinite intelligence and it's connected to that quantum field. It's connected to that divine presence, that we are all from, the very source of our life, the very source of our being. So it gives us that connection to all that information that is available to us. Hey.
Yeah, it's a connection to this world.
And the body is the connection to this world as well. So it's kind of bridging the two, I suppose. Hey, giving you that sensory feedback that you need in order to navigate this experience.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you're saying, as we're clearing and cleansing the beliefs and the emotions that we accumulate during our lifetime, which kind of clog up the work, kind of clog up the flow of that intuition, that flow of that being able to receive that information and use that information. Then we really start to
create your life,
to get into to create our life. Okay.
Yeah. And going back to what you say, how can people do? What is it that people have to do? There is one thing, and this was the hardest thing for me, and I know that is the hardest thing for everybody. When they start creating things, they're more open to it, because they realize that they have the strength to create anything in their life. And if you think about this, Carole, and this, I've been thinking a lot about this lately. Everybody, when something great happens, they're like, oh, I thought about it and it happened. How great it is. I am an awesome creator. Yes, you are. Perfect. But when something bad happens, oh, it's their fault. They're trying for somebody's fault. It's either God's fault or your husband or your kids or the neighbor or anything. It's everybody else's fault. So when I come to what I want to talk to you about is when you know that you're an infinite being, you have to really believe that you have God inside of you. And period. But you gotta figure out who is God for you. It is that Almighty that creates everything. If He is inside of you, then use your logic. If He's inside of you, then can't you create anything?
Absolutely.
Even Jesus said, if we're going to go and quote, Jesus said, after He finished every single miracle, He says, I do this, but you can do this and even more. And this is what many people and many light workers are doing nowadays. We're healing with our hands. We're changing around, completely turning around our lives. And the moment that you know that you have the strength to create anything in your life, that is when you start creating the impossible. And great things, of course, because you start trying to cut your negativity, your pessimism, and all that. So you know me, Carole, when do I talk negative? I don't ever talk negative.
No, in fact, you're always catching people when they are talking negative.
Yeah.
And saying, it's clear all of that. Yeah, throw that out the window.
And that's very simple. It's not hard. It's just to train yourself. So
exactly.
yeah.
I think what I'd like to add here also is that being your own creator means that you're not looking at a limited pool of resources and saying there's not going to be enough for everybody to create their own reality, because, you know, it's coming from this infinite source. So everybody has this infinite ability to create infinitely, really. Hey, it isn't limited in any way. Would you say, except for, I like to believe that people can't create negative creations infinitely, but what is your point of view on that? I mean, to create the highest point of view, you obviously, your creation, you don't want your creation to go and limit or control your neighbor, you know?
Oh yeah, that's something else. I don't even go there because that's not the way I am. But you could.
Right.
You could.
You could, but would you think they would eventually limit you, hey, in your creation, because it's a limited point of view?
Well,
Hey, would you say?
that's a point of view. That's a point of view. If you think that it will not,
Yeah.
you know that what comes to my mind when you say that is all the movies that we see, you know, the bad people getting richer,
Yeah.
bad, and they just keep on being like that. And we know, you know, we've seen them, you know, the drug dealers and all that, and nothing happens to them. It's because
That's true.
they believe that.
Yeah.
Remember, your beliefs create your reality. Even when you're mean, if you don't believe that the meanness is going to come back to you, it will not come back to you.
Okay.
I talk to people, and I'm like researching on, I don't know why I'm interested in you know, the drug dealers of the world in Russia, Mexico, Colombia, and all that. And they pray and they go like this before they're going to do something terrible.
I've also always noticed that all they go to confession.
God, help me, God. I'm going to sell these things, these drugs for everybody to die and get addicted to. Thank you, God, for giving me this. It's like, are you kidding me? This is unbelievable, you know? So to
Yeah.
answer the question, no, it depends on your belief. If your belief would limit you, it would limit you. It doesn't matter if you're doing good or bad. You create your reality. What happened is that I can, you know, I can catch people watching this already in the future. There are people that are going to be saying, so what's God for? You know, why are you saying that? God, the universe is neutral. I say they, both of them. God, let's use the word God. God knows the truth, our truth. What is our truth? Is that we are infinite beings. And we came here to play around, and I'm going to change this around. I know everybody says, oh, we come here to learn lessons. We don't come here to learn lessons. Because if we believe in reincarnation, that means that we have lived many lives and we know a lot, plus have the knowledge of the universe because we have God inside of us. So we don't come here to learn or to go through lessons. That's our excuse for the bad things that are happening to us. We go through lessons in our life. No, we go through whatever our beliefs is, and we bring that belief from past lives.
Okay. I think that's actually a very important distinction that you've made. I think that's also very empowering. Yeah. Because I think there is a quite a strong sort of belief out there that it's karma, you know, but what is karma really other than accumulation of beliefs, as you're saying, points of view based on experiences that you've had, which can be changed as soon as you change your point of view.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you a very funny example. When I was little, in Latin America, and I know it happens in all the houses in Latin America, our parents says, do not walk barefooted in the cold floor because you're gonna catch a cold.
Okay. Yes, I've heard something similar. Yeah.
We all caught a cold. We all caught a cold when we walked. So when I started going through all these changes with me and this unbelievable knowledge and awareness of that I create my reality. I have to put the cable on my thing. It says that I don't have battery. So I said, wait a minute, then this creation is completely absurd. Because I walk in a cold floor, I'm gonna get a cold. Are you kidding me? A cold is
Yeah.
a bug or something that usually, it's like that second, I never ever got a cold. And I was already in my 30s. So I was 30 years with a cold every time I walked barefooted. And then after that, never got a cold again.
Oh, that's incredible. Love that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is just a tiny example, you know.
Yeah. I know, I'm sure we could actually have a huge conversation just around, you know, diving into that. I mean, because there's the placebo effect that that doctors and scientists have proved. They've studied people who've taken a placebo pill and they're healed just as effectively, which is obviously your beliefs, your faith in the doctor or the medicine.
Exactly.
You know, that's well researched. So it's wonderful to hear your experience. That's really great. I see our time's coming to end of the hour. If there's anything else you want to share before, or whether you'd like to just go straight into just a process to clear, let's do.
Let me just, I'll do one thing. I'll give you, since everybody loves to do diets, I'll give you a diet. Why don't we just try it for 1 week. And if it's fun, just try it for 1 more week. The diet of no complaining.
That's fantastic.
So every time you see yourself complaining about something, stop yourself. And the first time or the first 2 days, you're just going to complain and you're going to notice it an hour later. Doesn't matter. But you notice. Okay. Then you start training your energy and training your brain into not be negative. Because that negativity and those complaints is what's bringing the life that you have.
Could you expand on that a little bit more? So it's not a matter of, like, say you see something happen, like you being put into lockdown, and you're not able to, say, go to the beach, which is your favorite place. It's rather than just suppressing that feeling of like, you're not trying to be okay with something that you're not actually okay with. How do you get to the point where you're neutral, where you don't complain and genuinely don't complain? Do you realize that the universe is always working on your behalf for your highest good, and therefore you just trust? Are you moving into a space of trust with it? Is that what allows you to not complain?
Yeah, just trust the universe. In this case, going back to what we said before, go inside of you, because if you're not happy with yourself, then there is something wrong. That's already a red flag. If you cannot stay with yourself, that's already the red flag. So I can give you, we have time. I'll give you one huge example. I gave you a little one, not a huge one. I had some money that I wanted to invest, okay? It was a lot of money that I wanted to invest. So I was looking through banks and there was something stopping me from investing, okay? There was always something. Either I forgot and it was already 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock and the banks were already closed, and something always happened. And then I was ready to. One day I was ready to invest. And then a few months before that, I had what they said it was a car crash, but it wasn't a car crash. I was going 5 miles an hour, turning after a red light. I was just starting after a red light, and I turned and there was a car next to me and I just barely touched it. My car had like one scratch. It wasn't even deep. It was 2 scratches, to be honest, two scratches. And the lady that I did that with, she was a car insurance agent. And she knew all the ins and outs. I happened to have had surgery and bad backaches from other car accidents that she'd had herself. Okay.
Right.
So to make it short, she blamed me. I had no idea, because I believe in the universe. I said, the universe is going to help me with this. It has my back. I am blind, 100% sure that the universe has my back.
Love that.
So she got the best lawyer in town, or the best lawyer in the state, and sued me.
Okay.
I looked at it and I say, I didn't complain. I just made an observation. I said, what is right about this that I'm not getting? there is something here. I don't know what it is, but there is something. Then my ex said, well, Maria, you did this. What are we going to do now? And I'm like, okay, so what happened? That was 3 months before, okay, this. So 3 months forward, I have this amount of money that I wanted to invest, okay? And then I receive a letter saying that she has won and I have to pay her $500,000 for all the doctors and everything that she had to go through. And she proved it. I'm like, oh my God. I sat there with the lady for an hour, for 2 hours, talking to her about our daughters and everything. Nothing happened to that lady. She said to me, nothing happened, Maria. I barely felt it. You barely pushed me. Nothing happened. But that was between her and me before the police arrived. But anyways, so what happens that I received a letter, and the letter said that there was an affidavit that for me to sign, because she was going to go into my bank accounts and look at how much money I have, because other than those $500,000 that my car insurance was going to pay her, she was going to sue me personally for more.
Oh my word.
Okay,
wow.
so look at that. I did become kind of red, and I'm like, okay, Riva, come down. What is going on here? So remember, I know that the universe has my back. My ex at the same time was like, oh, Maria, what are we going to do? I'm like, I don't know what is going on, but there is something going on here.
Okay.
Let's get a lawyer. We'll get, I know. And then the car insurance says, Maria, you're allowed to use our lawyer. I said, okay, I'm going to use their lawyer. I'm not going to spend the money in this. I don't feel like it because it's not my fault. Well, it is my fault, but I pay for her car thing, but I'm not going to pay for her doctors. I did nothing to this lady. So what happened was that I said, my ex-husband said, okay, Maria, you got to take all the money out of the bank, every single cent out of the bank, because she's going to go for us. They have these lawyers and they are the best, really. So I took all the money out of the bank. So what did I do? I did not invest in the stock market, right? Okay, a week later, what happened with the stock market and the coronavirus?
It crashed, didn't it?
There it was. I didn't pay.
Amazing.
And then the lawyer called me and said, Maria, I was able to save you. They're not going to ask you for any money. I told them that $500,000 was enough, that they were going a little bit too far to receive the $500,000. If not, we were going to give them even less. And that it was going to be hard with you because you had money and you were going to get an even better lawyer.
Okay.
Whatever she did, it doesn't matter what she said. It doesn't really matter what she said. I imagine that's what she said. I don't know what she said. She saved me from that. But the whole thing is that the universe had my back. All my friends lost 50%. And you know, the whole world knows that the stock market crashed. And not me. I took all the money out, didn't invest.
Fantastic.
So that's where the humongous point of me trusting the universe. I just knew there was something in the back. That's why this happened to me, because I am positive. I do only good to people, and I know that the universe has my back, and that is my strength. Period.
So even though you had to pay over what seems like a lot of money, you're still grateful because you actually had that money to hand over. And
no, I didn't pay it.
That
pay it. The insurance paid everything.
The insurance paid it. Oh yes, okay, that's the piece I was personally missing. Oh my gosh, that is incredible. And plus you got to keep all your money.
Exactly.
Absolutely intact.
Exactly.
Oh, that is incredible. Okay. Sure.
These are the situations that can happen if that the universe has your back and that you're just light, and because it had everything to go wrong.
And I think absolutely. And I think what I love about the fact that you ask the universe questions, I think some of those questions you always ask in a really great way. Like, hey, like, how does it get even better than this? Or what is the best outcome that can happen here? Hey, I mean, your questions are really eliciting like a co-conspiracy in the highest, most fun way. Hey,
Yeah.
but that's helping to create a relationship, you know, because that universe or God or source or whatever you want to call it is actually listening, you know, and it's just rejoicing and having so much fun watching you create and helping you create. Hey, it is a co-creation, because if you think that we're all actually a perspective of that source, so that source can experience itself. That's the description that I've heard shared, which I love. You know, then it's kind of source creating with itself, really, and that's why it's rejoicing and so infinitely invested in seeing you succeed, because it is just so much fun, you know. And it's so those questions that you ask are a way to start a conversation. So if any of our listeners are thinking, well, how can I start to do this? You start with one question, don't you? You start with the very first question.
I have the book Ask and You Shall Receive in Amazon, in the whole world. It has been bestseller in all the languages. I have it in English, I have it in Spanish, I have it in French, I have it in Portuguese, I have it in German. So
Brilliant.
There goes 5 languages that anybody here is going to be able to buy. And
yeah, what a perfect place to start.
It's just a small booklet with questions, and it's a book that you're going to have forever. It's a little book that you know, it's an ebook, so you have it on your phone. And I have, you know, people that text me and they say, Maria, I'm in a red light and I just go there. I'm having a problem in health and I just go there in health. You press health and then it gives you at least 20 questions of what to ask to change that situation. Because with
fantastic,
changing the quantum entanglement, you're going to be changing the oh my God, how do you say, the polarity of it. You're going to be changing the polarity of it, because you're expecting something good, because you deserve it, because you're an infinite being and you have God inside of you, period. How can something go wrong? Can't go wrong.
Brilliant. What can go right? Absolutely everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they can go get the book, Ask and You Shall Receive, and this time you will. And then you can also go to, oh, you know, you're part of my Facebook group. That it's awesome. It's The Extraordinary Entrepreneur in Facebook.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And your videos. Yeah, you've got a lot of series that you do, you know, like 21 days on how to attract clients, but it's so much more than just talking about getting clients. It's looking at changing your beliefs around all sorts of different topics and changing your point of view. And yeah, so it's really so highly helpful. So anybody can really join, even if they're not knowingly an entrepreneur.
Yeah, well, they do have to answer some questions, and if in one of those questions you can say that, you know, you saw me with Carole, then I'll let you in.
Okay, perfect.
Because I don't let in everybody. Only entrepreneurs.
Okay. Okay. But people can also contact you to do one-on-one work or to go onto your retreats. Yeah. So if they're really wanting to, and I know you said you really love to help people dream big. So if they're really wanting to clear away in their life to create something grand and magical, I know that I've had the joy of a couple of years and of what's needed to clear a really big space around a topic. So and you make it easy, you make it fun. So
yeah, doing something really fun now. I am actually having spend one day with Maria, and it's on. It could be either on WhatsApp or Voxer, and you can ask me any question during the whole day. Well, a whole day from my time, Miami time, New York time, from 9 to 3, and you can spend the whole day, you know, asking me questions, and you spend the day with me. And that is, look, I started it last week and it's so much fun. It's so much fun. People say, it's like being with you, like my best friend. Let me call my best friend to see. But the difference is that I solve their problem energetically and all kinds of ways, psychologically.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have that going on, the one day with Maria. And I have either the one-on-one, if they want, 4 sessions. I have a package of 4 sessions.
Okay.
And the retreat, which it's going to be the most amazing retreat. It's, I'm changing some things and adding some awesome things. Hopefully, if the universe lets me, it will be in September. Probably, I don't know where in the world, but wherever in the world you guys can fly to.
Okay, fantastic. And we can find out about that on your website, Maria Fernando.
mariaflariva.com.
Oh, that's right. Okay, F. Lariva. Okay,
It would be
cool.
great if they can actually email me on Maria F. Lariva, F as in Francis Fernanda, Maria F. Lariva1@gmail.com.
Okay.
And then I can include you actually in my list, so you can know the things that I'm doing. I don't spam. I don't write every single day or every single week. I write whenever the energy comes and super interesting things. So if you want to just, once in a while get some super interesting things, ideas, then of course I give, I have tons of presents that I give that, that I give master classes and all that I also put in the emails. So those are, places that you can go. And actually, yeah, you can go and register in mariaflariva.com and see all the things that I have there. And YouTube too. Also YouTube, Maria F. Lariva, separate La Riva. Also, they can go at my YouTube. I have a few of, I have in all kinds of languages, but I did think that I'd put a playlist of all the English that you can go through, and that would, that would start something, start moving, changing some energy inside of you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Maria. I really have so loved chatting to you, and thank you so much for all the insights you've given us. Lots of juicy nuggets to think about and take with us. Are you wanting to do a process before we end, or do you want to just let people to go and look at your YouTubes? I think we've got a lot of stuff to think about.
I guess that's it. And the thing is, the most important thing is for you guys to do the diet of no complaining.
Complaining. Perfect.
The no diet, and then it's just like when you're gonna, no bread diet. You take a piece of bread and you're like, oops, I took a bread. Well, it's already swollen, but whatever. And little by little, you're gonna notice that you're gonna see yourself how you think and start shifting, and your life will start shifting there too.
Fantastic. That all sounds wonderful.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I know everybody's going to really enjoy this and get so much out of it. And thanks again so much for your time. I've really loved it.
Carole, thank you for having me. And it was a pleasure.
Chat to you soon.